all know it's deeply insulting, if not downright racist, to suggest they all look alike when referring to African Americans or other ethnic groups. But it appears that sentiment persists. And this week, a prominent entertainment reporter was a case in point. KTLA entertainment reporter Sam Rubin was talking to the actor Samuel L. Jackson about his new movie RoboCop when Rubin veered off subject, asking Jackson about his appearance in a Super Bowl commercial.
Did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've admit my mistake. You know what?
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Samuel L. Jackson ridiculed Rubin for confusing him with Lawrence Fishburne. Even after Rubin apologized, Jackson kept going.
I'm the what's in your wallet black guy.
Okay.
He's the car black guy.
There it is.
Morgan Freeman is the other credit card black guy. You only hear his voice, though, so you probably won't confuse him with Lawrence Fishburne.
Rubin probably should have left it at that. Instead, he chose to appear live on TMZ defending himself.
We'll send it to you. The more complete and honest story would be to show what we did on the air.
We did show you on the air. You could call the guy by the wrong name and he blasted you for it.
Meanwhile, Jackson and RoboCop wound up getting a lot more coverage than a movie remake normally would have.
It was riveting television.
Nightline and CBS This Morning both picked up the story. Still, it's a cringer.
Really?
All right, let me just say, I'm not an entertainment reporter, so this is not my beat. So I have to say that I've confused, Kate Winslow and Cameron Diaz and some of those,
Winslet.
Winslet.
Right.
I don't. I mean, it's honest. It's just, and all those beautiful blonde girls. I can't sort them out. And is this completely different from that?
Yes and no. Because that's not your job to know them, right? Well, it is kind of, sort of, but you don't really cover pop culture. He's an entertainment reporter. If you said to him, quick, who's Blake Lively and who's Hayden Panettiere? Both blondes, don't look anything alike. I bet you he'd know.
Yeah.
So this rests on an ongoing insulting thing, that just makes me crazy and obviously makes Sam Jackson crazy. There, he was very polite. But this just goes to the root of, the kind of stuff that's always happening. If I had money for the amount of time I've taken to correct pictures misidentified as Reverend Martin Luther King in news archives in this country, I'd be wealthy today. It's ridiculous. And because they just lump everybody together. And it's happened to me by people who should know better, and it makes me crazy. If you covered entertainment, you better know who Kate Winslet is.
Other two people.
So there you go.
Yeah, that certainly happens in any number of contexts, but I think that you're right that the evidence would seem to indicate that it happens a lot more often with African Americans. I think it also probably happens a lot with Asian Americans.
Yes, it does.
Well.
I have many examples.
Right, exactly. And it's impossible to tell in any one given case what's behind it, but the trend lines are significant enough. Aside from everything else, just if your job is to be an entertainment reporter, you should know who was in the Matrix. You should know the difference. It should be a basic part of your job.
When you talk about it happening a lot with different groups, here's my theory, which is based on absolutely no data whatsoever, as most of my theories are.
Good.
My theory is that it happens a lot with the groups that you mentioned, perhaps other groups, because most of the media is white. I don't think that any one particular racial or ethnic group is more inclined to conflate two members of another racial or ethnic group, but I do think that the media as a whole is overpopulated with white people in this country, right? The media doesn't look the way the country does. So that's why it seems to be a white people problem. That's my, again,
and what gets me is that nobody thinks that that's insulting. They think, okay, well, I just got a picture. Oh, that's not Morgan Freeman. Oh, whatever. No, it's insulting. No.
Yeah, these aren't two young and up-and-coming starlets. These are stars.
No one thinks it's something to be embarrassed about. I mean, to me,
it happens all. You've seen that up on you're in the newsroom and you're like, what?
It was the country that put up the picture of Morgan Freeman in a tribute to Nelson Mandela and didn't know that was a country.
I know. It's ridiculous.
An entire country.
Yeah.
And/or its Twitter account.
I'm feeling a little conflicted about this because I hear what you're saying, Callie, and yet on the other hand, I'm trying to separate that out from the fact that I'm constantly mixing up my students of all races and colors and everything else. I just find it really hard to do. And you're right. If you're an entertainment reporter, you certainly ought to know who's who. but I guess I kind of feel like I can understand the mistake, and I'm not sure how much of it is racial. I could see him doing it with white entertainers as well.
I have never seen him do it with white entertainers, which is why this makes big news. It's all over everywhere in social media. And what drives me crazy is people I work with every day look at me and then they don't know my name. And this has happened. Yeah. I was telling the story earlier on the radio that when I was my first job as a reporter, we in Memphis used to go out all the time in groups covering these big things. That's before people were really, doing their individual things. So I would see the other reporters every week, 2 and 3 times a week. Okay, so I'm looking at you 2 and 3 times a week. I can tell it's Josh. And that's not Josh. This is Adam. And this is Dan. So there I am, and the guy comes over to me, and he says, "Hi, Sylvia." I say, "I'm not Sylvia." He says, "Yes, you are." Can I tell you how I went crazy on him?
I can imagine. Yeah.
I said, "Sylvia's a short black woman with straight hair, cat-eye glasses, and vanilla pudding color. Do I look like that?" This is the kind of thing that this is just not paying attention and assuming, yes, we all look alike.
This guy was backpedaling a million miles because it turns out Samuel L. Jackson was in something in the Super Bowl, and it was a clip from a movie, a different movie, not RoboCop, some other movie. So in fact, he did appear in the Super Bowl.
But he's supposed to know which ones. Lawrence Fishburne was in the Kia commercial for people who are taking notes.
Right.
Shoshani Hall is the guy in the H&R Block commercial and the AT&T Digital Life commercial, which Samuel Jackson also referred to. And Samuel Jackson is in the Quicksilver Capital One, What's in Your Wallet. Now is everybody straight?
I wouldn't have known that.
He didn't confuse Samuel L. Jackson with Bradley Cooper or Ethan Hawke.
Exactly. That's my point.
That's sort of a giveaway.
Yes, right. There you go.
All right. Enough of that.